Welcome back to part 2 of Garrett's birthday adventure. I took a little bit of a break there. Where did I leave off? Trying to think. Oh, yes, we had arrived at O'Byrne's. Now, O'Byrne's was packed on St. Patrick's Day. Oh my God. There was just a copious amount of people there. There was all sorts. Hell, when we were waiting in line to get on O'Byrne's, this guy dressed as a leprechaun. There was actually 3 guys. And the smallest one turned around, looked at me and Ryan. He was like, and me and Ryan were like, the fuck? Simultaneously, we both leaned in and were like, excuse me, what did you say? He's like, I'm from Liverpool. I am drunk right now. It's nice to meet you. That was horrible. That wasn't even a Liverpoolian accent. That was more of a drunk Canadian trying to do an Irish Liverpoolian accent. Sorry. So, we finally got into the bar, and it was $6.50 for a green beer. And I'm like, give me a green beer. And they're like, what type? I'm like, green. They don't even question. They don't even fucking bother. I didn't even care, honestly. I wanted my beers. God damn it. So we got into O'Byrne's and, packed as shit. Got myself a drink. Got Ryan a drink. Ryan went to the bathroom. Took him forever. It was like he was a woman. I didn't understand. I understood later, though. So we went from the back of the bar, which is where we usually congregate and spend our time. We wandered to the front of the bar because I wanted to see what was lively and happening up there, and there was nothing. So I noticed the staircase, which I've seen quite a few times when I would go to O'Byrne's, but I've never, ever ventured up there. I've been in the city for 6 years. This is the first St.Patties Day that has fallen on a Saturday since I've lived in the city. So 7 years ago, I was still in Cold Lake, and now I'm finally in Edmonton, and I have the opportunity to go and have myself a fun time at the bars, drunk as shit, experiencing my birthday the way the Irish do. And I appreciate that. I wish Canada would recognize that St. Patrick's Day is a holiday, and that the next day is a holiday as well, because everyone's too hungover to competently do their job. So we wandered upstairs, and upstairs was actually pretty spacious, pretty roomy. There was quite a few people up there still, but it worked out really good because a bunch of Irish dancers had shown up downstairs, so they had cleared off a section of the floor near the front door, which was blocked off. The only access was through the patio, and I got a wonderful perspective with my digital camera and my cell phone, which both record in 720p resolution, to record these Irish dancers, although one of them, the poor dear, she tried so hard. The one girl did her little jig and all that, tap dancing, river dancing, and the other girl went around and then she slipped and ate her shit all over the bar floor. She tried to compensate it, but everyone felt bad. It was quite hilarious. It's a great moment to have on my phone. Unfortunately, I only upload those videos onto Google+, so you Facebook users can eat shit. And we move on. So, spent a little while on the patio, or up on the upper deck, the upstairs of O'Byrne's, and after that I'm like, I am bored. So bored. So we wandered out to the patio because we had to head off. Part of my itinerary, I checked in everywhere I was, so everyone who paid attention to Facebook knew where I was. If you did not pay attention to Facebook, then you have a social life. Congratulations. For those of you who check for Facebook constantly, like Derek, you notice that I checked into a copious amount of places because I had set up an event on Facebook saying, hey, this is my birthday, this is what I want to do. And a bunch of people are like, yeah, we'll all meet you at O'Byrne's. Yeah, that's great. About a week, or no, that was a week before my birthday. A couple of days before my birthday, about 3 or 4 days, Yes, exactly. A day after I said the event. I'm like, you know what? A pub crawl. There has to be a lot of pub crawls going on in Edmonton for St. Patrick's Day. If there are not, there is sacrilege and something horrible happening in the world. And so I searched up, I found this wonderful thing called the Shamrock Shaker. And the Shamrock Shaker, there was 6 different pub crawl buses that were going around Edmonton from various bar to various bar. And the one that I found that appealed to me the most was the one that started at the Pint on White. Because I would be on White Avenue, start drinking on White Avenue, wander there, stumble onto a bus, and then go out drinking with a bunch of random individuals and meet some new people, have some friends with me, and it would be a wonderful time because the way they set up the Shamrock Shaker is like, hey, you meet at the Pine on White, then we go to a secret location, then we go to another secret location, and then from there we end up on the Strathcona Hotel on White, the Strat on White. I don't know if it's actually, the hotel is the appropriate way of describing it, but whatever. Went to the Strat on White at the end. I'm like, that works out because I want to stagger back to the LRT at the end of the evening, take that back to Beverly, and then either drive, depending on what condition I'm in, or walk, depending on how the weather is, or take a cab. Yes, cab is the final option, not driving. I'm a terrible person. So, walking 30 blocks is not that big of a deal for me. I could do it from the Beverly station to my house. I have no problem walking that distance. Paying for a cab? That's $5, probably. No, when they show up. Although I had heard many, many stories from people saying that getting a taxi cab on St. Patrick's Day is like contracting smallpox. It's fucking damn near impossible, but it can still happen. Very rarely. So, we had wandered out to the patio at O'Byrne's because we eventually had to leave to get to Pint on White at 3 o'clock. That was when they said to meet there for the pub crawl. So I'm walking along and I see these 2 girls sitting alone. Not very appealing girls at all, but girls nonetheless. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a little more outgoing today. I'm going to be very outgoing today. I'm going to interact with people that I usually never would. So I sit down, I'm like, hello, I am Garrett, and this is my friend Ryan. We're both decked out in suits. Just fucking styling. And the one girl, her name was Akira. The other girl, she was too ugly to remember. So we sat there and chatted with him for a bit, and she's like, oh, my fiance, Alex, is coming back. And he came over, and he was a very wonderful man. We chatted for quite some time. That's my partner from work, Aaron. I'm not going to read that right now because that would be rude. So we chatted with Akira, and it was funny because I was the second person that evening, day. Oh Jesus! It was about 2 o'clock. Yeah, we'd spent some time drinking O'Byrne's with their excessively expensive beer. Oh my God, $6.50 for a beer is fucking sacrilege. Until we left. So chatted with these individuals, very nice people. Don't really remember them. There was a girl named Kat, which was kind of scarring. She didn't look like my ex, luckily enough, but she did look familiar, eerily familiar. And from O'Byrne's, we went to the Tilted Kilt because the Tilted Kilt has some very, very beautiful scenery. Not majestic scrolling fields, breasts. There are a lot of very pretty ladies with very pretty boobies sticking out at the Tilted Kilt. So as we're walking by, I'm like, dude, it's like 2:45. We have plenty of time to hop in here, take in the sights, and enjoy ourselves. We go in there, we get some drinks. Unfortunately, I did not know that they were going to charge me $7.50 for a beer. $5.25 makes me shudder. It makes me want to puke to pay $5.25 for a beer. $7.50 makes me question whether God really exists for you Christians. I don't believe it, honestly. No God of mine would ever justify the fact of having alcohol cost that much. So we had one drink, enjoyed the wonderful, wonderful views that the Tilted Kilt had to offer, and then we staggered our way to the Pint on White. Sorry. Been drinking. Got to the Pint on White. There was a guy working the door already. I'm like, hey. I pull out my ticket for the Shamrock Shaker. I'm like, do you know what this means? He's like, I have no... that means fucking nothing to me. I'm like, okay. That's great. Got in there. Looked around. Sat down at a table. Ordered a drink. Drinks were still like $6. Everywhere was bending you over a table and having their way with you on St. Patrick's Day because they knew they could. Which was just horrible, unjustifiable, and wrong. And so we had a drink. Me and Ryan looking at each other like, I don't know where the fuck anyone is, how we're going to find these people for the pub crawl. I spent money on this pub crawl. We are going to be getting on a goddamn bus and going to some secret location eventually. So I look over and they had a man from 100.3, The Bear, a local Edmonton radio station there. I don't know what he was doing. He wasn't DJing. He wasn't making noise from what I could hear. It was deafening. There were so many people there. Any conversation was just inaudible because there was just white noise of people talking. I've never experienced really anything like that before. It was fucking horrifying. So we look over and Ryan's like, well, we gotta figure out what the fuck we gotta do. I'm like, alright, fine. I'm gonna talk to a bear guy. He probably has an idea where the pub crawl is. So I walk up to the guy. I'm like, do you know what the fuck this means? I hold my ticket for the Shamrock Shaker. He's like, no. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, but you know what? Al, that man over there, he probably does. I'm like, thank you. And you are? He's like, I'm Thomas. Park Warden on the radio, but Thomas. I'm like, thank you, Warden. And then I wandered away and never talked to that man again, but he was a very pleasant, helpful man. Talked to Al. I walked up to Al. I'm like, hey, Al, does this mean anything to you? I hold my Shamrock Shaker ticket. And he's like, yes. Mackenzie's going to show up at 4:30. I'm like, why the fuck am I here at 3? He's like, drink and have fun. That doesn't justify why I show up an hour and a half earlier before the coordinator does. I'm like, fuck this. We're leaving. And I will explain what happened in part 3. Oh my god, this is going to be a long one. I'm sorry.